And Queen Elizabeth II state funeral will take place at 11 a.m. Monday, September 19th. Buckingham Palace has announced details of Her Majesty's final journey from Balmoral to Windsor, and when members of the public can pay their respects, have been released by the Earl Marshal, Duke of Norfolk, who is coordinating the arrangements for the funeral.
Well, the late Queen is currently lying in an oak coffin in the ballroom at the Balmoral Castle, covered by a royal standard and a floral wreath, where estate staff have been able to pay their respects following her death on Thursday.
Okay, let's now join Adewale Ajani, public affairs analyst in the United Kingdom, to tell us more about the mood in the UK right now. Very warm evening to you, Adewale. It's been a beehive of activities. We've seen the ascension of King Charles III succeeding her mother. We've seen Londoners and, of course, indeed the world paying glorious tribute, to the late Queen Elizabeth II. What more can you tell us, happening in London?
Good evening. Well, it's a very interesting transition. We especially are looking at a lot of people across the country traveling to London from all over to give their condolences and to mourn the passing of the Queen. At the same time, you must remember that this is a diverse country with diverse different people's perspective. So there's a spectrum of perspectives and people from across the Commonwealth responding to the transition of the Queen. Certainly, for some people, it's more of thankfulness of a long time spent, 96 years in the world and 70 years on the throne, the longest serving monarch. Most of the people in this country have never seen a different ruler, a different monarch. So that is palpable to feel. And the official mourning takes quite some time. So we look forward to that process. But on the other extreme of that are people who look at the colonial heritage and have different kinds of perspective about the way the Queen's role has been utilized to keep people in their place, so such as it is. So these are all the kinds of things that people are debating, exchanging, but the majority of people are going to London, to the royal palaces, to Windsor, to pay different kinds of condolences and give their respect.
And Adewale, even though, not just the UK, but the world is in mourning, today we saw the flag actually fly at full mast instead of the half, because, of course, they say today we celebrate the emergence of a new king, the very first that we're seeing in over 70 years. So let's talk about King Charles III, as he'll be loved to be addressed right now. His emergence, what does it really mean for Africa and the Commonwealth at large?
Well, you have to understand this is a constitutional monarchy. And so whatever one speculates, oftentimes the choices made by the UK government are not the choices of the monarchy. But the monarchy has to stand as the figurehead for the country. So it's not much a policy. Yes, there's a certain level of influence that the monarch has, and that is never displayed publicly. I think essentially, I'm thinking, and I'm speaking personally, people have to review the role of the Commonwealth in their different lives, as we've just seen the Queen's role in Barbados, and the emergence of views around what colonialism has done across the world, what people's view as what their future should be, how they should engage. So I think the new king is being known to be more open to the diversity of the peoples that are covered by the Commonwealth, is more likely to recognize the African dimension of that diversity and the Caribbean dimension of that diversity, and is more likely to be open to using his influence to ensure that the voice are heard, not subjugated under the kinds of hierarchical ways that it's often been done in the past. So there's hopeful signs, and certainly when you say mourning, I think one has to also consider the fact that many people are celebrating a life well spent. And so all of these things are potential inspirations for a rapprochement in the Commonwealth to make sure that there's a renewal. This is the 21st century. There are different, very, very stretching agendas. Africa is more likely to come into its own in the next few decades. And the new king is going to have to come and engage that in real clear terms. And that might determine how the Commonwealth functions.
Right. Well, of course, we celebrate and mourn all at the same time. But for now, we'd have to say thank you so much to you, Adewale Ajani, Public Affairs Analyst, joining us from the United Kingdom tonight.